Well, thank you for everyone for joining us today for the BC Ferries info session. My name is Brianna Norgard, and I work with Workbc Center West Shore. Today we have also here Crystal Tui, from BC Ferries. And she'll be telling you all about the jobs available and just all about BC Ferries. Just a couple of housekeeping items. If you could all mute yourselves, but feel free to leave your camera on. That's totally fine. And then we're going to have a question period after Crystal's presentation. And then so during the presentation, feel free to message me any questions or just message to the group, just questions, and then we'll get to them during the question period. And this session is also recorded, so I'll be sharing it after the presentation or after the info session, just in case if you miss anything. So we'll just jump right into it. Oops. All right, so Workbc Center recognizes the territories of the Esquimalt and Songhees nations on which our offices are located. We are proud to provide employment-related services to these nations and to the people of Shaanu, Suk, Pachidat First Nations. Sorry, my computer is a little laggy right now. All right, so what is Workbc Employment Services? Workbc offers a range of services that provide job seekers to improve employment readiness and to find or maintain employment. Workbc Employment Services are available to all unemployed British Columbians who are seeking employment and who are legally eligible to work in BC. And then some of our services, we have a whole list of them. I'll just highlight just a couple. We have a staffed resource room where there's computers and access to printers. We offer a wide range of virtual workshops like resume writing, career planning, and then we have a new budgeting workshop as well. We have short-term training opportunities and then possible funding for formal training. We have financial supports for like work clothing and tools. We also offer other refers to community services. And then for employers, we host job fairs and then post jobs for free on our job board. So our centers are located in the West Shore and Suk area. And right now our centers or services are being offered virtually just for the time being due to COVID. But if you're interested in registering for any of the services, feel free to contact us at one of these numbers or just email myself. And I'm going to pass it over to Crystal now.
Yeah, great. So hopefully we can do the screen share and then okay, fingers crossed it works. Actually, maybe, is it really small on your side?
It's a little small, yeah. I don't know if you can do like the presentation mode.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Great. So hi everyone. As Brianne mentioned earlier, I'm Crystal Tui and I am the corporate HR advisor here at BC Ferries. Where I'm physically sitting today is actually in our head office. So that will mostly be the focus of the employment opportunities of today's presentation. Bit of a subject matter expert here within hires for sort of head office. We call them atrium individuals. I won't get into it right now, but it's what I will focus on today. But how I will start is I will sort of do a little bit of a drill down of sort of BC Ferries as a whole, how it breaks into terminals, and then how the terminals sort of get supported by us here at head office. So on the first slide here, what I wanted to point out is this really lovely ferry with this First Nations artwork on the side. This is an exciting environmental stewardship for us here at Ferries. This is one of our first LNG, so liquefied natural gas, and diesel-powered new ships to the ferries. So we are slowly replacing out sort of the old ones that are predominantly run by fossil fuels, and we're putting these in. So that's sort of an environmental impact going forward and one we're extremely proud of. Just a little bit sort of about our routes here. So we have 25 routes and they're on this map. So we service, of course, what you're most familiar with is probably the route that goes between Swartz Bay and Tawasin and or Horseshoe Bay and Nanaimo. So yes, those are our busiest routes for sure, but not all of our routes. So we have many, many more in addition to those. Between the 25 routes, we have 36 different vessels. So those can range in size from the big ones that you would take from Swartz Bay to Tawasin, to little tiny ones that would service more the remote communities and sort of little connector ferries that would take commuters back and forth on some of the smaller islands around us as well. And then we have 47 terminals. So they're all not as large scale as, again, what you're probably familiar with the lines and lines and lines of cars waiting to board. We do have many little terminals all over the coastline of BC. And some of them are so small that the staff actually come off the vessels when they pull into port, and they change duties really quick, and they manage selling tickets and the like. So not all terminals are fully staffed all the time. So you can have very small ones to very large ones.
Crystal, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
I think your screen might be frozen. We couldn't see the slide. Yeah.
Is it okay? Well, maybe I will just do a reshare again. It's moving on my side. Are you still stuck on the slide with the ferry?
Yeah, it was just the first slide that we could see.
Okay, so I wonder, let me exit out. Try it again. Oops. Maybe try it a third time if we're lucky. I miss the good old days of presenting in person.
Right? Yeah.
What, do you see a route map now? It's blue with numbers?
Yes, yeah, we see a route map. Yeah.
Okay, so and then do you now see two ferries with some language?
No, doesn't work.
Okay, so I don't think it's moving the way we need it to move. So I'm wondering, is it settings on your end, Brianna, or my end that we would change? This is what I was warned about with Zoom. Sometimes it can be a bit finicky. Right. I don't have any options really other than stop, pause for sharing. The view, speaker or gallery, which just changes what I see. Yeah, because I'm just doing a PowerPoint on my end, which is moving back and forth.
Okay. Is it in presentation mode?
Yep.
Oh. Yeah, I have had in the past PowerPoint issues. I usually convert mine to PDF, but that might take.
Okay, well, I can do that really quickly.
Okay, yeah, that might work best.
Of course, it won't work for me. Give me a second.
And if anyone has any questions, just feel free to pop them in the chat box right now. We can get to them during the question period.
Well, that won't work for me. What if I sent you the presentation, Brianna, and you shared it?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Crystal, you were working there just a second ago.
I was?
Yes, switch slides to the second slide.
Yep.
No, ours didn't move now.
No, okay.
There you go.
I'll send it to Brianna.
There you go.
Is it? Oh, and here it's working. Okay.
It's working now. I have a third slide here.
Okay. So I'll keep it here. So I guess this is outside of PowerPoint's presentation mode. This is just the generic sort of editor side, but I'll leave it like this because you can see it. That's great. Yeah, I'll make it bigger. Don't want anybody squinting their eyes. Okay. So I discussed these routes here and our terminals and sort of the vessels that service those terminals. And I just wanted to touch on why would you want to work for BC Ferries? So number one is that we're safe, caring, honest, respectful, and collaborative and sustainable. So lots of great attributes there for us. And then in terms of what we're looking for in terms of hires, so what you would bring would be someone who's engaged, professional, and respectful, someone who's flexible, adaptable to change, and then basically you like being in a fast-paced work environment with strong technical and interpersonal and leadership skills. We also are looking for clear and concise English. So as you just witnessed, you have to be fairly adaptable in our roles and make sure you can sort of, I always like to have the analogy of a palm tree, kind of just sway with what goes on, because there's always lots of things happening, which makes work here very exciting. But you do have to be very adaptable to those changes on a regular basis. Little bit of our employees at a glance here. So again, I'm not going to touch on all of these different areas of the company. I will mainly focus on administrative roles today. But just as a synopsis, we have 1,157 catering employees. We have 994 deck employees. So these would be on board our vessels, sort of catering would be servicing the food and cleaning and safety requirements on board. Deck is anyone, could be anyone from the captains who are actually driving the ship to individuals who are physically helping you park your vehicle within 6 inches of the car in front of you on the upper vehicle and lower vehicle decks. We have engineering. So a little bit of engineering is here at head office, but most of it is located out at our terminals and also on board our vessels. There's engine rooms and they're down there 24/7, making sure the ships are running the way they should be. We have 905 admin staff, and I'll touch on this a bit more, but 550 of those, so just over half, reside here at head office. And then the others sort of are support crew or support employees rather, out at the terminals. So there's different offices at the terminals as well, depending on the size. Then we have 949 terminal staff, so that would be anyone selling you a ticket, helping you park your car in the appropriate lane, making sure that the ramps and whatnot are being lowered and taken up correctly. So lots of employees there to help with the operations. And then we also have a shipyard located in Richmond, and that has 298 trades personnel. A lot of those are ticketed, Red Seal, say, mechanic or carpenter or electricians. So in total, we have just shy of 5,000 employees across BC. So very large organization. And like I mentioned, very multifaceted, lots going on. So where we recruit. So not every terminal is going to have someone that can take your resume if you decide to go apply, say, in northern BC. But we have 5 major terminals in addition to head office where we most typically recruit out of. So we have Swartz Bay, which you're probably more or less familiar with, in the terminal down there. We have an employee relations office out there that deals with all things HR related. Same in Nanaimo as well. So we have employee relations staff that support the HR side of things for those routes up there. And also Little River, finishing off sort of the island side. And then over on the mainland are 2 major terminals that have human resources support staff would be Tawasin. Again, Swartz Bay services Tawasin, and then Horseshoe Bay, and Nanaimo services Horseshoe Bay. Nanaimo also services Tawasin too, but I don't want to get too complicated. So in terms of, showing up and where you may one day have an interview take place or may one day work would be probably one of those 5 places. And then of course, what's not on the map would be head office where I'm sitting today. Currently, given COVID parameters, we don't have anybody to collect a resume, so email is best. And then also applying through our database, which I'll touch on in a little bit, would be the best way to apply for roles here. All right, so a little bit of our employee count, as I'd like to call it. So with our company, we like to have a few different names for everything. So I've noted where I'm sitting today is head office. Internally, it's noted as the atrium, which is downtown Victoria, and out in sort of other parts of the company, we're referred to as head office Victoria. So you can have many names for things at the company, which is just one way of explaining how multifaceted we are and sort of how quickly you have to adapt and pick up on, you know, what someone's trying to ask of you or the like. But I will break down our positions here at the atrium, also known as head office. So we're all administrative based. Most of our employees are part of our customer service team. We do have a large call center here in addition to a large customer relations center. So lots of customer service support we give out here. We have also a very large IT team, so they're kind of behind the scenes in a way, making sure that everything is running smoothly. Like I mentioned before, we have engineering here, more in sort of the administrative capacity. We have a large finance team here, so they make sure, obviously, that anything from invoices being paid to employees being paid to, you know, signing contracts with vendors and the like. So a big team here. We have communications. They actually sit right next to me where I'm located in head office. And so, of course, any sort of public news or information that's being kind of navigated from the communications team. And then we also have a kind of a smaller team, but we have lots of operations support. So even though everybody's mostly in operations out, you know, making sure the vessels are running and that food is being served and cars are loading properly and everybody's safe and things are clean, we do have a back-end support crew that makes sure that, you know, all these sort of admin side of things run smoothly as well to get everybody in place. So we are unique here at Ferries. So we do have different sort of statuses that you can be hired into. Most new hires with the company start in what's known as a seasonal status. So within that, your schedule is both set and flexible, and it may be extended past the season if work is acceptable and operational demands need the people. So essentially what this means is most seasonal employees are hired on for a busy summertime. So typically would start April, May, work through until the end of August. And then that, you know, with our business levels keeps getting pushed back a little further each year. So what we've seen as a trend in the last couple of years is that we have our summer employees working right through sometimes until the end of October, just to keep up with the business demands. So that's typically how most people get their foot in the door, is under a seasonal role. Once you work as a seasonal, depending again on what's available in your area, business volumes, performance, etc., you will have the opportunity to convert into a casual role. And what that means is that your schedule does have some set hours. And some flexibility for last minute coverage. Really depends again on the business volumes and the areas that need the support. And then of course, there's always the opportunity, sort of once your foot's in the door here at BC Ferries, to apply on regular positions. There is a very defined process for doing so, and many of those jobs are actually posted inside the company, so internal. So essentially the best way to do to get a job here at BC Ferries is to start in a summer or a seasonal position. Decide to do casual because then you're kept on and you can work all throughout the year. And then you can apply on those regular opportunities that come available that are only appointed to internal staff at the company. So there is that. And there's 550 of us here at head office in Victoria. Of course, we're not all here right now, given the regulations around the pandemic. We do have a working from home guide set in place. Mine's a bit different. I'm doing a bit of a hybrid model, so I'm in the office a few days a week and I'm at home the other few. Some of our customer service team hasn't been in since the pandemic started back in 2020, and we were all told to go home. So it really just varies sort of by the department and the needs and what that working from home and remote schedule looks like. A little bit about the qualifications for our administrative positions. So in order to apply, you must be at least 16 years old. That's pretty straight BC employment standards across the board here. You must have successfully completed grade 12. That is at a minimum requirement for our administrative roles. And then we do like to have individuals apply with an intermediate to advanced proficiency with computers and their applications. As things are sort of shifting more and more, our IT team gets bigger and bigger, and the more sort of online or cloud-based applications we as employees deal with on a regular basis. So it's good to have advanced proficiency in those areas. And then in our call center, one of the experiences that's an asset to you when applying would be social media. They do sort of have a bit of a customer service sort of triage where they would go in and check social media, make sure the accounts are up to date, because that is actually how a lot of our customers find current information about, whether sailing might be canceled or pushed back, in addition to a bunch of fun other things that go on with our social media page. So that's an asset, because chances are most likely if you're working here in our call center, you would be asked to do something along the lines of that. So it is an asset. So narrowing down to our most commonly hired for position here at head office, and we post these jobs every year. Jobs are usually posted mid to the later half of January, and then they close 2 months in, so say about March, end of March, and then we do our hiring process through until April. And those roles are called customer service and sale representative. So I just outlined sort of a little pay schedule and what you would expect when applying for that role. So we hire seasonal. So again, going back to the summer support, we always hire seasonals every year. And your rate of pay currently is $22.67. You do get paid out in lieu of vacation and benefits, so that's not included in your hourly rate. It's in addition to. And then in October, when the time comes, you're typically asked if you'd like to stay on casual, and then you can stay on with us all year. Your rate of pay goes up to $25.20, but until you work quite a few hours with us, so about 3 months of full-time hours, which is, I won't get too nitty-gritty to the numbers, but it's about 913. At that point, you are eligible for benefits, but until that point, we do pay you in lieu of them. And then once you're a casual or a seasonal and your foot's in the door of the company, you can apply for any regular position that does come up. So there's many ways that these come across. I'm actually the one who manages all of the job postings for the entire organization. That's me. But at head office specifically, typically these career opportunities come across to you on a weekly basis. They're given out for different areas across the company, and you're more than welcome to apply on them. In addition to, there's other opportunities that are sent via an email, which would be sort of more of our administrative capacity on our operations side. So a lot of our executives here at head office have sort of an executive assistant or an admin assistant that supports them. And a lot of our customer sales and service representatives apply on those positions, and they tend to advance themselves within that way. So those as well, typically internal only, and we're always looking to advance our employees rather from within. So that's a way of doing that there. Myself, I started with the company in an administrative capacity in HR, and then has been moved to the advisor role. So again, I was promoted from within. A lot of the as mentioned, the customer service and sales representatives that we hire in the summer, some of them have gone into those executive assistant or admin assistant roles for our executive team. Some have gone into our security center to work and do that across the organization. Others have found themselves nice and comfy within our IT area, and others have found themselves sort of obtaining that advancement within the finance department too. So there's lots of room once you're in and you work in these roles to apply and to work your way up and around the company, which is great. And then of course, that's if you want to stay only at head office, your opportunities triple or quadruple if you're looking at perhaps going and working out at the terminals as well. But I'll focus just on admin here at the atrium today, but lots of room for advancement, which is always exciting. A little bit of how to apply. So I would strongly suggest you visit our career page to see current opportunities